What if the most feared empire never sent soldiers into every conquered city? In the next 14 minutes you'll see how the Aztecs ruled an empire without a standing army, and witness the moment their invisible web finally snapped in a blaze of blood and betrayal. A lone stone tablet lies half-buried in the mud of Lake Texcoco, its glyphs whispering of a power that never marched in formation. How could a people born on a swamp island command a realm that stretched from the Pacific to the Atlantic? The answer hides in a secret that even the conquistadors missed. First, we travel back to 1300 CE, when nomadic Nahua groups scattered across central Mexico. Among them, the Mexica arrived late, eyes fixed on a prophecy that promised a city where an eagle perched on a cactus would signal destiny. They chose a marshy islet, built a causeway, and founded Tenochtitlan. The city rose like a lotus, its temples twin-peaked, its canals reflecting the sky. Yet the Mexica were outsiders, surrounded by hostile Tepanecs who demanded tribute. In 1427, a daring alliance forged the Triple Alliance, Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopan. Together they toppled the Tepanec capital Azcapotzalco. But the victory was not sealed by swords alone, it was sealed by a marriage between the Mexica ruler and the daughter of Texcoco's king. That marriage was the first thread in a web that would bind dozens of city-states. Instead of installing garrisons, the Aztecs placed relatives on thrones, ensuring loyalty through blood, not brute force. But why would distant rulers accept foreign princes? The answer lay in the Aztec economy, a sophisticated tribute tax system that funneled luxury goods, obsidian, cacao, feathers, through the capital, making the empire the only gateway to wealth. The Aztecs called this payment Tlahtocayotl, taxes, not tribute. It was a legal contract, not a forced offering. City-states kept their armies, their laws, their gods, but they owed the Aztec king a share of their harvests. As the empire expanded south to Chiapas and east to the Gulf, the pattern repeated. In each new conquest, the Aztecs sent a delegation of nobles, arranged a marriage with the local elite, and signed a tax charter. No legion marched in, no siege walls rose. Yet the system was fragile. It relied on the perception that the Aztec king was both a divine protector and a shrewd businessman. When that perception cracked, the whole structure trembled. Enter the year 1519. A band of Spaniards, led by Hernan Cortés, landed on the Gulf Coast. They were welcomed by the Tlaxcaltecs, longtime enemies of the Mexica, who saw an opportunity to break the Aztec chain. Cortés quickly learned the Aztec secret: the empire's power rested on alliances, not armies. He forged his own marriage alliances, promising the Tlaxcaltecs spoils and autonomy if they helped him seize Tenochtitlan. The climax arrives on August 13, 1521. After months of siege, a firestorm engulfs the great causeways. The Aztec king Cuauhtémoc watches his empire crumble, not because soldiers fell, but because the tax network collapsed, the marriage ties severed, and the flow of tribute stopped. The Spaniards entered the ruins of Tenochtitlan, but the real victory was the destruction of the invisible web. Without the tax contracts, the client kings had no reason to obey, and the empire dissolved overnight. Archaeologists later uncovered the Templo Mayor, its twin shrine still echoing the ancient rites. Yet the most telling artifact was a set of codices detailing tax agreements, proof that paperwork, not swords, held the empire together. Why did the Aztecs choose this indirect method? Scholars argue it minimized the cost of maintaining distant garrisons and allowed rapid expansion across diverse terrains, from highlands to jungles. But the system also sowed seeds of resentment. Subject peoples chafed under heavy taxes, and when the Spanish cut off the flow of goods, the anger boiled over into rebellion. The Aztec marriage strategy, too, had limits. Royal women were often married off to distant allies, creating fragile bonds that could be broken by a single betrayal. One such betrayal came when the ruler of a southern city-state, once a loyal client, allied with the Spanish after a failed harvest tax. That shift turned the tide, opening a corridor for Cortés's forces. The fall of Tenochtitlan was not a sudden battle but a cascade of broken contracts, abandoned marriages, and halted tribute, an empire collapsing from within as much as from without. Modern scholars compare the Aztec model to contemporary soft power strategies, economic sanctions, diplomatic marriages, and trade dependencies that shape global politics without a single shot fired. The mystery remains, could the Aztec Empire have survived if a single tax charter had held? Or was its reliance on human relationships always a ticking time bomb? What we uncovered is a civilization that mastered the art of indirect rule, proving that the most powerful empires are sometimes those that never raise a sword beyond their capital. The Aztec Empire reminds us that influence can be woven through marriage, economics, and law, tools still wielded today. If you enjoyed untangling this ancient mystery, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and join us for the next hidden story from history's shadows.